Hello, how are you doing? Welcome, Michael Steinbrick. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Denise. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really, I can't tell you how much I just adore your work.
Thank you so much.
And you're very new to us at the Doorway Gallery. So that's why I've got loads of questions people have been asking us all week. Um, just to get to know you and get inside your studio and inside your mind a bit, if that's okay.
That's great.
So first off, I saw your work in a London gallery and immediately was drawn to it. It was like, how do you do that? Visually, how do you do that? Has this always been your style? I mean, was this or is this a new direction?
No, this wasn't my style. So when I went to art school, and when I did my BFA show, I was doing abstract work. So they were abstract, organic seascapes, and it was totally from my imagination, and it wasn't my truth. I had always wanted to do realism, but I always felt like the art world I was being pushed into something more abstract, and I didn't want to do it. It wasn't the right route for me, and it took me years. I had taken time off from painting, probably about 10 years. And
really? Because it's a mixture of photorealistic and abstract, which is very unique.
Yes. Well, you know what and what's unique about that is that I think it's hard for a lot of photorealists to do abstract. So when you look at a lot of photorealism, there's a lot of that's very linear. And there's a lot of abstract stuff in my work. So I have the ability, which I don't think a lot of people do, to work from both sides of my brain. So I can get into the very linear side, the problems, and then I could get into the abstract side of my brain and sort of let loose and just do things. Everything I look at in my painting, I'm just looking at pure abstraction. So I'm looking at the image. I'm looking at light, dark lines, shapes, and reproducing it.
I love watching you sometimes put a little clip on social media of how you start your canvases to the end, and it just fascinates me how you do it and how you see. So when you draw, do you draw it out originally on a sketchbook and then, or how does it happen?
No. So my process, so I work from photographs, and I'll almost follow my intuition about when to go. Usually it's raining, of course it's raining. And then I'll go into the city, I'll catch a cab, or I'll get a friend to drive me around. And it's the craziest thing because I'm there with my iPhone. My iPhone takes the best shots, and I'm there as the car is bumping, trying to take shots as the car is moving quickly. And it's really funny in a way. There'll be a moment where I feel it's there. I'm seeing it. I can feel the colors. I can feel the lights and everything lining up. And I know I cannot see what I'm getting. I'm moving so quickly. I'm taking so many shots, but I know it's there. There'll be a moment where I feel it and an energy. And I get so excited about going home and looking at my photograph and finding it. And it's almost like a moment where everything lines up. Between the rain and what the rain is doing to all the colors and the lights and the reflections, and they're just magical, sort of these magical moments. And then what happens is it's crazy because when I paint, so I paint from my photographs. So they're photorealistic, which is crazy because but when I paint them, there's a life to them that's not in the photo.
No, it's this energy that pops out like your work. And that's when I brought you to trade fairs, that's what immediately people just stop and look and go, wow. And that's the reaction I get all the time in the gallery.
And what's interesting is that with my work, people come back. They experience it, and then they go walk around, and it's almost like they're drawn to it again, and they don't know what it is that they're drawn to. And I sort of know what it is. It's sort of like I'm very spiritual. I meditate all the time. Not all of my paintings have it for me, but when they do, when they have like that sort of energy coming off of it, I feel it myself, and I'm standing in front of it. And I believe I'm connecting to, as an artist, I think I'm channeling energy.
Yeah.
So I'm connecting to this pure energy.
Definitely.
So my work, I don't think of it as me. I have this healthy ego detachment from it. Like when I see it, I'm like, oh my God. I don't take credit for it. Like I look at it as something outside of myself.
It's amazing. Like, was it when you were in college then? Yeah. Was that difficult? Because, people want you to go into a certain bracket of you're this artist, you're a photorealistic artist, or you're an abstract, or you're. Yeah. Was that hard for you then? Because you didn't know, I suppose, what you were doing.
But I was really influenced by a lot of the students around me.
Yeah.
And I sort of wanted to. I had a good friend. She was an abstract artist. And she did this beautiful, organic, twisted, very colorful abstractions that were stunning. And I was really influenced by that. And my work was influenced by that. But I don't think it was necessarily me being honest. I wasn't living my truth at the point. And what's great is that having that time, that period of 10 years where I didn't paint, all of my life experiences led me to a point where I'd evolved into my ownness in a way. So when I started painting again, I wasn't going to do something I thought the world wanted. I was going to do what I wanted to do. And
did you know? Did you what made you start again after 10 years? How did that begin?
The election of Barack Obama in 2000.
Right. Really? Wow.
And I went to the inauguration and I took photographs, and I thought, God, it would be great to paint one of these images in Times Square. The inauguration was on the screens, and I thought it would be great to paint one of these images. And I ended up painting 3 of them. And then it just there was something about it. You know what happened? I was painting one of them, and there's an image of these faces on a Jumbotron. And while I was painting those faces, now I'm doing photorealism, right? It looks exactly like the image. While I was doing that, all of a sudden my hand was moving on its own. It was like it was moving through me, and I knew that I could connect to that energy doing photorealism, that the style wasn't important, that it was being able to connect to that energy. And it was, I think, I studied acting for a while, and I studied the Meisner technique. And in the Meisner technique, you sort of do exercises that get you out of your thinking brain.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned to connect to this other energy. And then it moved into my painting when I started painting again.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty.
When you took a break for 10 years, didn't draw, or you didn't do anything to do with painting? Was it just acting then?
Oh, no. Well, honestly, I was working for a backdrops company in Chicago.
So you still stayed in the creative.
Right, but when I got the job there, the woman that owned the company, she had 3 main artists, and she just wanted somebody to move these giant backdrops, right? So she looked at my portfolio. She saw that I could paint, but in her head, she didn't have me as the artist. So she wouldn't let me paint. So.
Oh my God.
Because I knew what I could do, right? And she just didn't have this perception of me as the artist. So I didn't paint much there.
Has she seen your work now?
I don't know.
I'd love to know.
Yeah, I know. I would love to show her. And she would probably take credit, deny. she would probably take.
Wow. And were you not itching to get back? I actually know one of our artists did the exact same. They came out of our college and they said they'd never paint again because they were so different to what the teacher wanted them to be.
Yeah.
But now she's back painting, and it's amazing. Like it's about confidence as well. Like
It is. And I actually, honestly, I had a great mentor. Well, I don't know if I would say great because he didn't really teach me anything. He just allowed me to be.
But that's it. Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah.
And that was great. And I do appreciate that. But I did have other teachers, like I had a drawing teacher who I learned the best lessons from that really, really made me look at the world differently. I mean, this one drawing teacher, she really taught me how to look at the world abstractly, how to look at everything. I can break anything down to the smallest components. So in my work, I look at the elements in my work that I see minimalism, I see abstract, I see a lot of different things broken down. And, sort of influences come in from other areas.
Yeah.
From other styles that sort of influence my work.
Another question here was, is it always New York scenes? Have you ever tried painting any other cities?
I did try painting Florida, South Beach. And that didn't go too well because
I can't imagine it.
So I went down there for a weekend, and it's supposed to rain the entire weekend, and there was no rain. Denise, I went with everything. I got a sheet of glass, and I was throwing water on it. I got little droplets.
It never stops raining here. You need to get over here.
And there's a lot of green. At some point, I'm coming to Ireland.
Yeah, I know. We were due to meet this year when the lockdown came, and you were flying into London at the art fair when I was there. So we were so close. We were so close.
I mean, my flight was on the 11th. It was supposed to be on the 11th. We were locked down here on the 15th.
Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened. I may still.
And that was your first time. Was that your first time visiting Europe?
No, actually, I studied at I did a foreign exchange at a school in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
Town in the northern part of the Netherlands. It was the most conservative place I have ever been to.
So how did that happen?
We had an exchange program with my school, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. This is just going to be, and I thought, oh my God, wow. First of all, Americans are so expressive and loud and over the top. And I got there and I thought, these people are so unemotional. There's no expression.
No.
It was one of the best experiences of my life. I really actually, in those moments, I sort of learned how to just use anything. I took a piece of fabric and I used that fabric as a still life, and I just reshaped it and kept on reshaping it. And I really developed my technique through that, and which was, it was really a fantastic experience. But I got to go to London while I was doing the foreign exchange, and I loved it.
You just need to get you over here next.
Well,
and can I ask about your medium? Yes, I know. This is I remember when we first
my
met.
mom's name is McGurk. Michael McGurk.
It was meant to be. Can I ask about your medium? There was somebody was asking, because when you look at your work, I'm just looking at it here, it looks like there's so much texture on it.
Yeah, there's
no
fact,
there's no, and it's
I hate texture.
I was about to.
So I love, I appreciate texture of other artists and their texture, but part of me wants to paint off of paintings that I see that have a lot of texture.
Really? Oh.
And if I see a little buildup, I just take it off or rub it out. And it has a lot, I think, to do with my technique. So when I'm painting, this
Mm.
is really interesting because when I'm painting, it's almost more tactile than it is visual. So when I'm rubbing, and my brushstroke can be really frenetic and erratic, especially in the underlayers and the underpainting. And I'm feeling the surface of what I'm painting.
Yeah.
So if I'm
Yeah.
painting water, I'm painting feeling a very smooth. Water for me is easy to paint because that surface being so smooth. Something like
Mm.
sand is impossible. It's really hard for me to paint because I'm trying to feel the sand, and there's
Mm.
texture in it.
So how do you, if there, because you have work in different layers. So
Yes,
what do you do when the texture does appear then? Do you just sand it down, or
no, the layers are very thin.
you still keep every layer thin? Okay.
Yeah. The upper layers have more, volume.
That's quite a clever technique, though. It's hard. I imagine that's quite hard to do as well.
Yeah, and I use a lot of thinner in the layers.
Right. Okay.
So it's a trend. You loosen, look to it,
So a palette knife is definitely not in your studio.
No, I don't have. There's one from years ago that I would use just to mix the paint. I don't even use one to mix paint. It's the craziest thing. I don't have a palette knife.
What does your palette look like? I mean, is there lots of color, or how does it look?
It's a mess. It's amazing that let's see if I can pull up the palette. Oh no, I don't have a good one because I was working on a small amount of color, but usually my palette is horrible. It's just a mishmash of color, and every color is on there, and it's a mess.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah, but it's where everything is. It's a tidy mess.
It's a tidy mess. I love
your video as well. I love your studio, and everything's there. It's in, especially I suppose with lockdown. How did you find it then? It was pretty normal. It wasn't much of a change then, was it?
No, it wasn't that much of a change for me because I'm an introvert, so I spend a lot of time alone. But I didn't realize how much I needed people.
Artists I've spoken to, the exact same. I mean, it's quite common. I mean, some artists have to drag themselves out twice a week just to go to the shops because they could easily be very content in their studios every day. So yeah, I can totally relate. It's
yeah. I mean, I love painting. I just it's such a thing for me.
Your family was your family creative? Was there artists in your family?
They had the ability, both parents had the ability to draw. And I had an uncle who painted seascapes. So it was there, but it was never pushed in my family. It was never, so they didn't go to art school, they didn't take classes, but you could see that both of them could draw.
Okay. And can I ask, does it take you, I know personally it does take you a long time to do them, but another question was, how many would you have like on the go at once? Because I presume you go back to them.
Yeah. How many paintings am I working on at?
How many paintings would you work on all at once? Yeah.
No, I just work on one painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, and unless
Until it's finished.
Unless I have a commission,
I
am married to that painting.
Right. So that's interesting.
It's almost like a character that I'm taking on.
Yeah.
And I'm immersing myself in that character. I think it has to do with my, I have the ability to compartmentalize, which is why I can do the paintings that I do and how I can, zoom in on small areas and capture what I do. But then it makes it hard for me to focus on more than one thing at a time. I can't multitask.
You did a commission, which I thought was fast. It was completely different to your cityscapes. Do you like doing, like, I mean, if someone commissioned you to do a portrait, would you do it?
It really depends. I would do a portrait because it's not difficult. You know, it's not difficult for me to do a portrait.
This is challenging for you, this work.
Challenging, yes. Like the
Okay.
portrait wouldn't be challenging in the way that these are. As you can see, it's just like endless.
It's intense, yeah. But you don't. Have you ever done a seascape? Or I'm just curious.
A seascape?
Yeah.
Probably when I was a teenager. You know, before I went to school, before I went to art school, getting a canvas and following some art instructor on TV and doing a free seascapes. But it's something I've thought of. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if it would be that challenging for me.
Can you explain the piece behind you of the pink canvas?
Oh, the mannequin.
Yeah. What's the idea behind that? Because I've seen a few of them in your video as well.
Yeah. So I did a painting probably about 6 years ago of a store in New York City with a group of mannequins. And, you know, I've been going back and taking shots of these mannequins. They were I think it was a reflective quality, and they were reflecting the city. And then there were these larger, you know, there were shots I got of just pure shots of these mannequin heads with the reflections. And it was just so powerful to me. And then I just started doing these larger mannequin heads. And they're pretty intense because they're totally
cool. Yeah, they're cool. I really like them. Yeah. So I've seen your work in kiosks in New York. How did that happen? Like, how does an artist get appeared on these busy streets in New York? It was very impressive.
That was amazing. So they contacted me. They saw my work on Instagram. And me, and I had been seeing these kiosks all over the city and watching what would come up. Every morning I would watch them because they would have different artists on them and whatever. So I got an email from them asking if I'd like to show. This is the funny part. Would I be interested in showing my work on these kiosks? And I thought to myself, you have to pay. It was crazy. So there are 7,000 of these kiosks all throughout New York City. And it was like being a kid on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
One gift, because you're walking down the street and next to you is a kiosk and your name and your painting pops up, right? And it's so surreal. I cannot even explain to you. And then a block down, you see one across the street and you see another of your paintings popping up.
You obviously have to hang out in the streets for the duration of the
I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go home because I would be missing them. So I got.
Yeah, I mean it's big exposure, isn't it?
Oh my God, it was fantastic. It was really, really incredible. And then I was able to get photos of my paintings with, you know, the Empire State Building, or Park, or Times Square.
Amazing.
So really, it was just probably one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced. You know, just to see it work. It's one thing, you know, to be up on.
Yeah, when you get that exposure, it's a big boost to morale as well. You know, it's kind of like it's a confidence thing, isn't it, as well? And it keeps you painting. It's like somebody buying a painting. You get that red dot. It gives you that motivation.
Well, and you also know that all these people are seeing your work, and they may not be noticing it, but they're getting it on another level of consciousness. The image is there. So in the future, if they see my work, there's this connection. Yeah, you know,
definitely. It all clicks, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was pretty, you know, it was a great experience.
And Michael, what's the plan for the rest of the year? Have we got one? What are you working towards? I usually have all these deadlines for all these art fairs, but I think we're all kind of
I did try something that I had been wanting to do. So I took I took some of my rain scenes and I made them into quadrants. with an app. And then I did that. I did a couple of those paintings. And then it was fun, and it was really challenging to do the same scene 4 times in one painting. And then, but after I did them and I put them aside for a little bit, it just wasn't there. The magic wasn't there, the same magic. And I always, there's something about my life, a lesson that I've learned is that I don't have to try. I don't have to force it. There's so much out there in reality. My paintings are images you've never seen before.
You've got it. Like, you've got that distinctive style. You don't need to do any more. This is what you are. Yeah.
All because of the time it is now, and all the different lights and technology in New York City. These images haven't been done. Like, what I'm doing is really unique and new, and there's so many possibilities I haven't tapped into. I mean, I go out there. I have not tapped into what I really want to capture from it.
Really? So you have loads of other ideas of what you want to do.
Yeah. So I swear I haven't gotten the perfect rainstorm lighting, because there have been so many factors. I need to have my own car and to be sitting there in the middle of Times Square and just shooting, directing it myself. And I just haven't figured that out yet. But when I do,
wow.
There would be some.
Well, I just have to say, it's been so lovely talking to you today. And I'm just looking forward to our next journey and over the next year. Hopefully one day we're going to get you over here for a live show, which would be amazing.
Yeah,
but thank you so much. It's been wonderful to just get an insight to your ideas and thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much.
Pleasure. It's great. Thank you, Michael, and you take care. Thanks.
Okay. You too.
Bye. Bye.